Hello, this is Dr. Tim Green, and in this interview, I have a conversation with Dr. Yong Zhao, who currently serves as a presidential chair and director of the Institute for Global and Online Education in the College of Education at the University of Oregon. He is also a professor in the Department of Educational Measurement, Policy, and Leadership at the University of Oregon. He is also a professional fellow at the Mitchell Institute for Health and Education Policy, Victoria University. He was named one of the 2012 10 Most Influential People in Educational Technology by the Tech and Learn magazine. His work focuses on the implications of globalization and technology on education. He's published over 100 articles and 20 books, one being World-Class Learners Educating Creative and Entrepreneurial Students. And this is the topic of the conversation I had with Dr. Zhao. Hi, this is Dr. Tim Green, and I'm here with Dr. Yong Zhao. I'm so thrilled to have you here today and letting me interview you. So thank you, Dr. Zhao, for being here.
Well, thank you, Tim.
And so our topic today, we have two different topics. The second half is going to talk about one of Dr. Zhao's books, World-Class Learners Educating Creative and Entrepreneurial Students. Before we get into that, I have a couple questions more related to educational technology that I want to throw by you. So my first question is, how did you get involved in educational technology?
Oh my God, that was a long time ago. I remember that's 1985. God, that's 30 years ago. I was a college student in China learning English, and there were some computers, personal computers were introduced, and I thought it would be fun to try doing some computer program to help me and others memorize English words. So I got into basic programming on Apple IIes at that time, and IBM XTs. I think that must be old to many people, but I've never heard of that. And so I got interested in that. Actually, my undergraduate thesis was about the feasibility of computer-assisted language learning in China. So ever since then, I've been doing a lot of work, and then I went to, of course, University of Illinois, and that's where I studied quite a lot of computer in education. That time was 1993, 92, when Mosaic, the first web browser was made at the University of Illinois. So that's how, it's been there for a long time.
So prior to that, what was your interest prior to that? I mean, did educational technology, did you just discover it, or did you ease into it before then? Was it tied into something else you liked?
It was just something, I think I was just fascinated. I think it was introduced to a computer programming course,
Sure.
in China. Then I just was at that time have a lot of enthusiasm to say, man, this is fun. And also computer programming was to me more very much like therapy. It makes me feel really good. And when you do something, actually, you can see the actual results, if it's working or not. I was hooked by coding, actually.
Yes. That's interesting. It was therapy to you. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So as you look at K-12 and educational technology, what do you see as being some of the greatest challenges that we face with educational technology in K-12?
Well, I think as I wrote with some of my co-authors recently in the book that's going to be published by Corwin, Never Send a Human to the Machine's Job. I think a lot of times has been the different mindset about. I think I was one of them to commit the same mistake. We kept looking at technology for solutions, but eventually a solution has to come out of educational philosophy change. I think mindset is, and we are using technology to do very minor things and mostly instructional changes, but actually we needed a different shift of what schools can be. I mean, if from beginning on, every wave of technology, we kept looking for better hardware, better connectivity, and better software, and those has all come really honestly to be much bigger progress than we had expected. But schools remain very much the same, and the big educational achievement gap still exists. And then we looked at teacher adoption. I was involved in that as well. Teacher training, professional development, and that seems to be the focus. And that I don't think has panned out very well either, because again, the whole education structure has not been challenged, and as many people have proposed those challenges. And so I think we invest a lot and at every wave. And then, of course, technology changes all the time. So we've been doing the catching up game. I think that a big problem is that we always view technology is going to do amazing things, and the technology has the potential to do amazing things, but it needs to have the right framework.
Sure. Interesting. So, excellent. Thank you. So, you mentioned you have a new book now. What is from coming out in Koran? What's that
It's
book?
called "Never Send a Human to the Machine's Job." It's really borrowed the title from a speech in the Matrix. Never send a man to the machine's job.
Uh-huh.
It's really trying to suggest that we need to think technology not as one replacing the other, but more like a view from a transmedia perspective. Technology does certain things, and human beings do certain things, and together we can form a better ecosystem for learning.
Excellent. And I will put a link to that in the show notes so people can take a look at that book.
Thank you.
So I want to shift over to the book, World Class Learners, Educating Creative and Entrepreneurial Students. I enjoyed this book very much. I have a couple questions about it. Mm-hmm. So why, you talk a lot about this in the book, but why is the entrepreneurial mindset missing in our society in general, and really among K-12 populations in particular?
Well, Tim, thank you. And I think the main reason is that because our traditional education paradigm was designed to prepare employees. Therefore, our employee mindset is more valued. We want our children to follow orders, to develop the basic skills and knowledge so they can find a job. So we educate our children to fit in existing jobs. I think that's it was by design we did that, and so in a sense we can say we've been very successful in doing so. Get everyone to think like an employee, to keep looking for jobs that would they can fit in.
So since you see that the entrepreneurial mindset is kind of lacking, what can we do as educators to help foster this, help develop this within our K-12 students?
Well, I think first of all, we really have to change our mindset. As you know, in technology brings transformations, but it doesn't transform all the time. A lot of technology is incremental, but I think we now face a massive transformation that brought about by technology, like the STEM engine, and that means that we are going to require different kind of people, different talents who can create jobs and opportunities, who have the entrepreneur mindset to solve problems, identify problems. So I think we need to accept that, and accept also that our traditional paradigm was designed to produce employees and which will not be deliberate in cultivating the entrepreneur mindset. I think so. To answer your question more directly, in the new way of education, we need to first of all recognize that entrepreneurs come in all types and shapes and forms, and so we need to identify every individual talent as valuable to help them develop their own strength, not trying to fix their deficit according to some external standards which were really used to prescribe talents of employees instead of entrepreneurs. So we need to recognize the entrepreneur mindset comes from individuals and with their own strength. And the second thing, in our schools, we need to engage our children, not more authentic activities, so they are learning to make things to serve other people's purposes. And that's where actually, by the way, technology can play a big role. Technology is really, modern technology is really can help children to engage in the production of real products, ideas fast. And third is that in a new age of globalization, we need a lot more globally minded entrepreneurs. So countries do not engage in the idea of trying to call it global competition, but rather trying to global collaboration. Our students can help others, in many places, solve problems, identify problems, and work with them. So I would say we imagine our schools as a global as a campus. Our students are engaged in learning with, from, and for each other and on the globe. And that's another where I think technology can play a major role, is by connecting people.
Excellent. Yeah, I love that. And I love, go back to your first one that you gave, the recognizing and identifying strengths instead of trying to fix deficits. I wish every educator had that in their minds. I love that phrase.
Yes, thanks, Tim. And I use the story of Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer as an example. The red nose was laughed at in the beginning.
Yes.
But the foggy Christmas arrived. Everybody, Santa have found, there's some use in the red. And I think I would say the foggy Christmas Eve has arrived for every talent.
I love that. That is excellent. I will definitely remember that story. I love that. You kind of already answered this, but I want to throw this question out if you want to expand on it. What role can and should educational technology play in helping build entrepreneurial mindsets? And I think you've already answered that, but if
Oh yeah, I'll be happy to say it again because I think it gives a great opportunity. It's well, I think technology, really modern technology, especially the information and communication technologies and the digital technology, really give us students a very inexpensive way to create products that can reach a global audience. So I would say we should engage technology a lot more in help our children become creators of knowledge, information, products, services, not just consumers. As now I think in our schools, technology used mostly to support consumption of existing
Mhm.
information. And the second thing is that we need to use technology to connect our people globally, which we don't do. We have a global platform, but yet our teaching is still very local, isolated in a classroom.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. That is excellent. Thank you.
Hmm.
So the last question I ask everyone I interview, just a general kind of question for those who listen to and watch my videos here. What advice do you have for educators, educational technologists, instructional designers, or all three, regarding educational technology and the integration of it? What 1, 2 pieces of advice do you have?
Well, first of all, they should follow your video and your blog.
Well, thank you.
Second of all, they can read my book. But in more seriously, I think we need to really change the mindset to say let students take control. And many people may be very familiar with Sugata Mitra's work,
Oh, yes.
and the self-organizing learning environments to recognize our children can and are motivated to learn, and they have talents that is valuable. And so let's help Rudolph become more red-nosed rather than trying to paint the nose black. So I think identify individual talents, individual motivation, and technology can afford that opportunity. And teachers seriously back off from trying to be an instructor. I said teachers should not have no reason for teachers to compete with Google or YouTube for how much they know, but they back off, change their role as mentors and coaches.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, Dr. Zhao, I greatly appreciate you taking your time. It's been fun talking to you. I will point everyone in the notes to your latest book coming out from Corn Press and some of your other works as well. So thank you again, Dr. Zhao, for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Green. It was lovely talking to you.